Hello. This is really awkward. So I have been on YouTube now since like January, I think. But I haven't done like a sit down, talk to me video thing. I don't know, you all know who I am because most of you who follow me on YouTube follow Cupcakes and Coasters and stuff on Facebook, but I feel like I haven't done one of these in a while. I tried a thing last year where we would do like in the car stuff, but I kind of got bored of doing those, so I thought let's try something different. So hello, my name's Jordan and I run Cupcakes and Coasters, which is like my online name for all my theme parky stuff that I like to do. So started with my blog, which is cupcakesandcoasters.com, and then from there I've kind of got my Facebook page and my newsletter, Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, and then this year I've decided to dive into the terrifying world of YouTube, which is mostly theme park vlogs, but I wanted to do something a bit more like this and start doing more kind of sit down videos and make the most of the sun, because I am tight and don't have any proper filming equipment. So this setup is currently on a stack of books, because that's the kind of person I am. But yeah, so I thought I'd do like not like a get to know me, more like a ask me questions about theme parks, and yeah, a few of you guys asked me some questions, so that is in a very long-winded way what we are doing today. So I am going to just go through all the questions you guys asked me on Facebook and answer them. So let's get into it. So Matthew asked, if you could pick any type of coaster that we haven't got in the UK yet, which one would you pick and which park would you like to see it yet? I feel like if I don't say RMC at Thorpe, like it would be a lie. We all want to see an RMC at Thorpe, come on, like it would be awesome. I would like to see an RMC in the UK anyway, but when I think of an RMC in the other parks in the UK, it doesn't really seem to fit. Whereas if you think of an RMC at Thorpe, you can picture it so clearly, like it would be great. Obviously it's that. Marcus Gaines, the shit, has asked, what's the best pair of cargo trousers to wear at a theme park? This stems from the fact that I am kind of notorious for going to theme parks not dressed the most appropriately. I just like to look nice. I don't really dress practically. I recently did a Go Ape wearing a dress. Again, it's just, yeah, I just don't. So the best pair of cargo trousers to wear to a theme park are ones that you can take off and burn afterwards, because they are the worst crime against fashion I can ever imagine. There's no excuse for cargo trousers, guys. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about it. Park Scares and Glitter, hi, says, with scare season only a matter of months away, yes, we love Halloween. That's literally, I spend my whole year gearing up to Halloween. Like, it ended last year for me, and me and my friends literally sat and went, right, where are we going next year? And I can't believe it's like, it'll probably be August by the time this video goes out. I can't believe I'm sitting here in August and literally it's only a month until I go to my first scare thing, which is just so exciting to me. I love it. But yeah, which scare attraction slash maze are you most excited to experience this year? For me, that is the Stranger Things maze coming to Halloween Horror Nights, which is going to be, I don't care if it's not scary. Like, I'm such a big fan of the show. I just want it to be true to the show. I don't care if I'm not scared. If I'm walking through going, this is fucking cool. I want Dad, I want Mom Steve even. I want fucking the Demogorgon. I want 11 bleeding and tearing shit up. Like, that's what I want. If it's not that, Universal, you suck, but it's gotta be, it's Universal, guys. It's gonna be amazing. In the UK, I'm just really excited to go back to Extreme Scream Park. I took a year off last year, and I'm doing a meet up there this year on the 5th of October. So if you wanna come to that, you are more than welcome, because it's gonna be fun. I haven't done the mazes there in ages, and they were some of the best UK horror attractions I've ever done. So I'm really excited to get back there next year. Morgan says, if you had the money to open your own theme park, what would be the first coaster you'd install? I always think with these questions, like, people always go, oh, I'd take this coaster that already exists and put it in my park, whereas for me, like, I would like to have something new. So I'd say it'd have to have a lot of launches, really epic theming, and loads of insane airtime. I know I've kind of just described Taron, but not Taron, but something similar to Taron would be quite cool. Not that I would never want to own a theme park. It would take all the fun out of it. Running a theme park is a stressful business. I do not want to do that ever in my life. But yeah, Taron, but not Taron. Yes. Tracy has asked a million questions, which is fine. She said, if you could throw one coaster into the fiery pits of Mordor, which would it be and why? Technically, it already has been thrown into the fiery pits of Mordor. Oh, I'm fuzzy again. There we go. Technically, it's already dead, but it was Hurler at King's Dominion because that coaster was a piece of shit. One awful, awful ride. And at the worst theme park ever, which is King's Dominion, bleh. But it's been RMC'd now, so, and I hear good things. So that's already dead. After that, it's really hard for me to think of coasters like I really hate. Like, there's not really anything that I'm like, what a hunk of junk. Like, even bad coasters I think is funny because it's crap. But maybe I-305 for being the most overrated thing ever. Like, I really didn't enjoy that coaster. But I mean, I know a lot of people do, so I probably wouldn't want to burn it because other people like it. Yeah, see, I am nice. What's your favourite flavour of cupcake? This always gets brought up. I'm cupcakes and coasters and there is rarely a cupcake in sight. I like something weird, like a carrot cake cupcake would be good. I'm like a real sucker for like Instagrammable things. So if there was a cupcake that looked amazing, like have you seen these like mermaid cupcakes they're selling at Walt Disney World now? Like, those look amazing and I would buy it and then I'd look at it and go, I don't really want to eat that because it's all icing and I don't really like sweet things that much. So I'd probably buy it, take a picture of it and then give it to Connor and then he could eat it. I love this question. What got you into coasters with such a passion to travel the world in search of them? So I have been going to theme parks my whole life. My parents are into theme parks. We went to Florida for the first time in 1994. We always visited Thorpe and Chessington and Alton growing up. Then when I was a bit older, I discovered Roller Coaster Tycoon. And when I discovered Roller Coaster Tycoon, it was just when kind of the internet was becoming a more like accessible thing. And I remember I was like, oh, I want to find out more about Roller Coaster Tycoon. So I googled it and it took me to a little website called Coaster Force. And I was like, oh, what's this? And I started off reading the kind of Roller Coaster Tycoon forums, and then I realised there was a whole other kind of branch of forums, just people talking about theme parks. And I got into it from there. And then I went on my first kind of meetups and met other people who were so into it, and it kind of, I knew these other parks existed, but I'd never really had the means or company to travel to them before. Like before, it had always just been where my family goes. So the more kind of niche, unusual places we never really got to. But obviously met up with this wonderful band of weirdos called Coaster Force, and it's kind of, the rest is history. The thing with it is, and I think the passion comes from, I have a group of friends who are all extremely competitive when it comes to kind of coaster counting. So it's kind of like you have to, like, you're always trying to get ahead of your friend with your coaster count, but then as part of that you just get to go to the most amazing places and countries and cities. So we always like to try and combine the two. But yeah, that's where it comes from, basically. Basically, I'm extremely competitive is the answer to that question. Louise has asked, what's your favourite Disney food from any of the parks? I don't really like the food Disney does, if I'm honest. I think in general it's a bit shit. I've never had an amazing meal at a Disney park, but the one that comes to my mind most recently is those pork floss corn dog things we had at Shanghai Disney. Those were amazing. I would eat one right now. Like, if I had the power to order one and eat one right now, I would eat it because it was amazing. It was like a hot dog wrapped in corn batter with like spicy pork, really thin pulled pork on the top, and it was so good. The guys at Pleasure Beach Experience have asked, what is your favourite coaster at Blackpool Pleasure Beach? Well, my favourite coaster at Blackpool Pleasure Beach used to be the Wild Mouse, RIP. I think now it's probably the Grand National, just because the racing element of the Grand National is so good. Like, you're never ever in the world ever again gonna get a racing coaster where you can literally touch hands with the people next to you, and that element of it makes it just so much fun. And it's like, it's a little bit brutal, but it gives it character, it's fine. I love it. Like, whenever I ride with my friends, we always end up like swearing at each other and stuff as you go around. It gets like really vicious and like, again, really competitive. It's my nature. Yeah, probably Grand National. Amelia has asked, what's your favourite thing about visiting a park for the first time? I think that depends entirely on the park. I do tend to look a little bit too much into things and spoil it a little bit for myself, but I love when you go to a park and there are things there that you had no idea were there, and not only did you have no idea they were there, but they're also amazing. Like, it's usually a dark ride. Like, I remember the first time I went to Efteling, I didn't really know a lot about Efteling, but we went on Dreamflux for the first time, and I just remember sitting there thinking, someone has been into my brain and pulled out all of this fairy tale crap that I love and made a ride out of it. And I always really struggled to explain how I feel about Dreamflux, because it really is, for me, that ride is like riding a dream. And if you know what that means, thank you, but it's indescribable to me. But that kind of thing where you are just blown away by something you had no idea existed, that's my favourite part about riding, about visiting a park for the first time. And then Lou, on the back of what I've just said, Lou has asked, what IP would you like to see adapted into a ride or attraction? Labyrinth. Dreamflux for me, sorry, is kind of as close to the feel of the Labyrinth movie as you could get, and I think the fairies in Efteling are based on the Brian Froud characters in the Labyrinth, or vice versa. The styles are very similar, and it's got that, obviously, that fairy tale element. It's quite dark and gothic and kind of a little bit strange like Efteling is, and I just think it's annoying because Labyrinth is such a big IP. The only places that are really going to do it would be somewhere like Disney or a Universal or some kind of movie park, so you're not going to get that real edge to it like the Efteling rides have. But if we took all that away and I could just have a standalone weird cool Labyrinth ride, hell yeah, I want it. I don't know what it'd be, I just want it to be amazing, and for me to just, again, feel like someone's gone inside my head and created my dream ride. That's what I would love. CJ has asked, what's my favourite coaster that I've ever ridden? That would be Skyrush at Hershey Park. It's been like a hot second since I've ridden Skyrush, but I still remember we had ERT on it. We went to Hershey Park and it was hot all day, kind of like it is now, and it was amazing. It's probably the most terrified I've ever been on a ride. The restraints sit kind of like down on your thighs, so you just feel like you're gonna die the entire way around, and it was just so much fun. I don't think, like, for me, things I love in a coaster are speed, the feeling of being out of control, and re-rideability. If I want to come off a coaster and go straight back on it, that to me is a great ride. And the only reason we stopped riding Skyrush is because the park closed and we had to leave. I think I'd still be riding it now if I had the chance. Like, it was so much fun. I kind of am in two minds about whether I ever want to ride it again, and I know that's a really weird thing to say about something that's meant to be like your most favourite ride in the world, but because it's been 6 years since I went on it, I've been on a lot more coasters now, and I just would be scared to go on it and be disappointed, if that makes sense. But yeah, at the moment it's Skyrush. Chris has asked, what's a big tip for tourists visiting UK parks? One thing I would say is make sure you arrive before opening so that you are at the front of the queue when the park opens. If the park opens at 10, get there at like 9 and just hang out, like bring some like Candy Crush or whatever, like just to make sure you're at the park before it opens so that you're ready and raring to go, because we have kind of shorter operating hours than say European parks or American parks, and our parks can get quite busy as well, so I'll just make sure you have maximum ride time. Like, I see people turning up to Thorpe Park every day at like 1 and it stresses me out because I'm like, what are you doing? You've got like 4 hours in the park, it's crazy. But yeah, that's probably the biggest one. Josh has asked, if you move to the States, who is your dream park to work for? Probably Dollywood or Silver Dollar City. Those parks are amazing, and they're in parts of America where I'd kind of like, I would love to live in Tennessee or in Missouri. Like those places, I feel like I could see myself living there. But those parks are just so wholesome, they're so cute. I would be morbidly obese if I lived in if I worked in those parks, because the food is so good, and I don't think I'd be ashamed of it either. It'd be great. The rides are amazing. I would just love to work somewhere that has that kind of wholesome family feel, I think, because like them to me are like, those parks are like kind of truly American parks. You go there and you get a real like kind of hit of Americana. They're just amazing places. Ollie has asked, what do you think American parks could learn from what we do in Britain and vice versa? That's really interesting. I think American parks could learn a thing or two about theming. Like, I think when you look at the Merlin parks, they are not Disney or Efteling or Phantasialand standards of theming. They're Merlin standards of theming, which are still amazing, but done and taken into consideration when designing new rides. Whereas I think a lot of the American parks just go for like kind of big hardcore coasters, because that's what that kind of all American thing is about. Like, we want bigger, faster, better. But I think I would love to see more American coasters, and I think we are starting to see it a little bit, to be fair, but I'd love to see more American coasters in the kind of big chain parks like the Cedar Fairs and the Six Flags parks, with a theme in mind throughout the whole design process. And I think, what could we learn from American parks? I think that's really hard, because in general, it's hard when you say American parks, because you obviously have like Disney and Universal, to me, are American parks, even though they're international. Or you have Cedar Fair and Six Flags, which to me aren't as good as the UK parks. I would maybe say a priority on coasters. I think in the UK at the moment we've had a real focus on kind of these immersive full experience attractions, which again I absolutely love. I love that we think outside the box a little bit more in terms of, like I said, theme and narrative and stuff. But I mean, obviously with Icon we've seen a new big coaster in the UK, but because of our planning restrictions, etc, etc, there's not that much focus on big thrilling coasters, and I would like to see that return to the UK, I think. Jack has asked, what is the most immersive roller coaster you have ridden? My brain always immediately goes to the Mummy, because there's a lot of coasters out there that are themed. Like, why can't I think of that? No, actually, that's a lie. It's Tron. It's Tron at Shanghai Disney. That coaster is indescribably good. Like, I just went thinking, like, you think motorbike coaster and you think like your Velocities and your booster bikes, that kind of thing, and it's just so bloody good. Like, the launch is so fast, but everything from the moment you step inside that queue, and there's all the neon and the sounds, and everything builds up to the moment you get into the bike and you pull the restraint down, and as you pull the restraint down and it locks, all the lights come on and it goes vroom, like it powers up. The staff are costumed in neon costumes as well, and you launch and you're lined up and there's kind of mirrors, so you can see yourself looking like badass on a motorbike coaster, and you think, yeah, I look the shit. And then you launch and you go through that obviously massive dome thing, which is also amazing, and then you go into the building, and I hadn't really looked at what this ride was, and the screens and the projections and everything, I literally went wow out loud, like it just came out of my mouth, and I was like, incredible. Like, I spent the whole ride with my jaw dropped, because it was just, if someone said, oh, what's it like to be inside a Tron computer, they've absolutely nailed it. Like, there's a reason why we say the Imagineers are the best in the world at what they do. It's because they can create moments like that. It's just, yeah, insane. That ride, I'm excited. As much as I know some people are a bit upset that it's coming to Orlando, but I want more people to experience that ride. It's so good. Like, I can't wait. Like, my parents are probably never going to go to Shanghai and go to the Chinese version, and I want them to go on that ride. I want them to have that same moment that I did, and I think that's great. That is all the questions I will be answering today. Thank you so much for sending questions through. You know, when you post stuff, I never know if people are going to reply or if I'm just going to be like waiting for a question. Yeah, that's been fun. It's been quite weird just sat in a room by myself talking to a camera, but maybe you get used to these things. Who knows? Yeah, hopefully I'll do a few more of these style of videos. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Is that what you meant to say? Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment below telling me what you think, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.